opposed to a dangerous mentally ill person. Not that all mentally ill people are dangerous. I'm mentally ill. And by allowing him to set the agenda, I'm doing this on behalf of Islam. It gives a certain grandeur to nihilistic and violent actions.
So were people who carry out acts like this week's siege necessarily mentally ill?
No, of course not.
Professor of Psychology Nizar Stankov from the Australian Catholic University.
Right after the 9/11 event, there were some talks among psychologists that indeed all those people who have been involved in it might have some mental problems. That was dismissed within a year of serious discussion, and it is very clear people who are involved in radical terrorist activities, most of them are not in fact mentally ill.
J.L. is the director of the Hunter Institute of Mental Health.
First of all, we had the assumption that this was a terrorist attack, and when that seems to be not the case, then the second thing that the community jumps to is this must be someone with a mental illness. And I can guarantee you, with the amount of calls that I've had and many people in the health sector, the labelling and the language and often the caricatures about this man having a mental illness is actually having an impact on people in our community.
So people have good reason to say he must have been mentally unstable to be able to do what he did.
It's a really uncomfortable thing for us as community members to accept the fact that sometimes there isn't a very simple or very black and white reason why things happen. Often when we see things of this nature, I can think of the Port Arthur massacre, a range of other, things that have happened, that automatically we jump to the conclusion that this must have been somebody who had a mental illness. What we know, in fact, is that the research suggests that most people with a mental illness are more likely to be the victims of violence and not the perpetrators of violence, and more likely violent behaviour is associated with many other risk factors long before they're associated with mental disorder. And so it kind of plays into those natural fears that the community has, that in some way mental illness is associated with violent behaviour, or that for someone to be mental illness there needed to be something. And it's an uncomfortable reality for some people that may not be the case.
But even if Monis was mentally ill, Professor Stankov says this week's events would necessarily have been predictable. He says profiling on the basis of mental illness has
try to predict violent behavior, mostly with the criminals, and they call that profiling. Abandoned about 20 years ago because of too many errors that have been committed in trying to do that kind of activity and predict whether it will be violent or not. Predicting what he would do would be virtually impossible on the basis of the psychological we have at the moment.
The Hunter Institute's J.L. says references to monsters and nutbag or madmen only serve to discourage those with mental illness from seeking help.
If it does in fact turn out that the man in question had a mental illness, and there is something for us to explore and discuss as a community, then of course we should be having those conversations. We should be looking at that from a range of angles. But at this stage, my feeling is that what is going on is people are speculating, people are trying to demonise not only the person but many other people in the community through their use of language and the assumptions that are being made.
That's the director of the Hunter Institute of Mental Health, J.L. ending Lexi Meserol's report. Russia's Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev has urged citizens not to panic despite a tumbling currency. The ruble did recover slightly yesterday after collapsing against the US dollar a day earlier. So you might wonder why some Russians are going shopping. Al Jazeera's Rory Challenge explains.
An upmarket showroom selling expensive German cars doesn't seem an obvious winner with the economy tanking. But these are strange times in Russia, and Audi is happy to be doing this business.
Россияне решили сделать себе прекрасный подарок по Новому году.
The math is simple. In spring you could buy one car for $50,000. Now you can buy two for the same money.
Now even if I wanted to buy this car, I can't because it's sold. So is this one, so is this one. Pretty much everything in this showroom has recently been sold. Now it may seem counterintuitive in the middle of a financial crisis to go shopping, but there is loyalty to this spree. New stock is imported, it will be bought with a ruble that's collapsed in value and consumer prices will rocket. Sergei is buying a TV to take advantage of a situation he knows won't last.
It depends on what we were trying to buy before, but decided not to wait any further. We don't expect the situation to get better soon.
And that's the thing, this is a bonanza with a fatalistic edge. Russia's economy is in deep trouble, and people know they will soon feel the pain.
One should not allow things like this to happen. They should not allow people to speculate on the ruble. Of course it influences ordinary people. I don't like this situation.
Some retailers seem paralyzed, not knowing what prices they should be charging. Apple closed its Russian online store.
And Al Jazeera's Rory Challenge reporting. Many people have been making news in 2014.
Rose Batty, Tim Cahill, Thea, Peter Gresser,
But there can be only one ABC News Radio Newsmaker of the Year.
Richard Flanagan,
So who do you think it should be?
Malala Yousafzai, Alex Salmons, Jackie Lambie.
Go to our website abc.net.au/newsradio and vote for News Radio's Newsmaker of 2014. Have your say right now at abc.net.au/newsradio. And you can have your say right now by going online while you continue to listen to us right here on ABC News Radio. Time for your next news update. Eastern Daylight Time is 6:30 in South Australia, 6 o'clock in Queensland, 5:30 in the Northern Territory, 5 o'clock, and in Western Australia, good afternoon.
ABC News Radio.
The family of one of the hostages killed in the Lindt Cafe siege is urging stronger action from authorities to avoid a similar incident. Lindt Cafe manager Tory Johnson and barrister Katrina Dawson were killed in the final minutes of the Sydney siege. The New South Wales Director of Public Prosecutions has been asked to conduct a review of court decisions to grant bail in the wake of the siege in Martin Place. Tory's aunt, Lynn Whittaker, has welcomed the news and says the gunman, Man Haron Monis, should never have been granted bail.
You hear about it all, in other places of the world, but, not here. And I think it's a real shock to think that this has happened, and we don't want this to happen again. This is justice.
Will join English side Harlequins after the 2015 World Cup. It follows Adam Ashley Cooper's announcement he'll join Bordeaux. Meantime, All Black star Dan Carter is also heading to Europe after the World Cup. And tonight, only on the 7 o'clock TV news, a Toowoomba resident has filmed a gust-nado he spotted while driving on the New England Highway towards Cambodia this afternoon.
Very clever. I'm sure that was a pretty interesting experience to be involved in. A gust-nado,
I've never heard of a gust-nado.
It's coming to a movie screen near
Not
you.
like a sharknado.
Well, it could be.
But it's apparently a type of, since you asked, or didn't ask, it's a type of tornado, but it's really a brief, intense vortex that forms on the leading edge of gust fronts.
Oh my gosh, it sounds like you get interstellar with that.
Oh yeah, no, that's
vortex.
Courtesy of the Bureau of Meteorology.
John Taylor, you astound and amaze me. Thank you so much. It's 28 to 6 on ABC Local Radio Queensland.
ABC Traffic.
Heading back to the roads, here's Brad at ATN. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Annie, and as you mentioned throughout the afternoon on the radar, we've got these storms moving across, and I can give you a little bit of weather at the moment. I'm looking at the Ipswich Motorway and Warrego Highway camera around Dinmore and Riverview, and that rain's just starting to come down now. It's quite heavy at the moment, but a lot of wind as well, so do take it easy on the roads and drive with care and flick those headlights on as we speak. Even if you haven't got rain around your area, that rain is moving over quite quickly, those clouds. And at the moment, incident-wise, a Caboolture crash on Mirabelle Road between Hensel Road and McKean Street. At Meadowbrook, a car and bike incident, Loganlee Road near Queens Road still being cleared. Got those lights on flash at Camp Hill, Old Cleveland Road and Bruce Street. And a car into a tree at Ningy Bestman Road still remains closed near Boxgum Court. Now, congestion this afternoon, quite a heavy run on Coronation Drive inbound from Toowong to the city, with no crashes or breakdowns in that area. Main Street's been busy outbound from Kangaroo Point to Wollongabba due to the cricket finishing this afternoon. Police are at several intersections doing point duty. Ipswich Motorway still very busy westbound from basically Maruka to Rockley, but it is starting to ease with these wet conditions starting to settle in, not helping this afternoon with congestion. Gibbey Road's been busy outbound from Churnside to Aspley. Sandgate Road looking a lot better around the Toombul Road merge at Virginia. The Gateway motorway southbound from Murray to Belmont slow, and the Gateway northbound from Eagle Farm to Nudgee has been very heavy this afternoon. Early crash not helping. And the Pacific motorway in the M1, a busy run from Upper Bankobat right through to Daisy Hill. On the Gold Coast Highway's been busy northbound through Southport, and the M1 southbound through Mudgebar. Around the Sunshine Coast, Eagle Way's been about the busiest through Medina and Minyama in both directions. And elsewhere in the state, we've got a crash at Norman Gardens on Rockhampton Yeppoon Road. Now that's closed eastbound, a single vehicle crash about a kilometre east of Norman Road. So we've had traffic going by Emu Park Road, but best to avoid that area. That's the latest traffic up to date. This is Brad at the Brisbane Traffic Centre, back around 5:45 on ABC Local Radio Queensland.
Thanks, Brad. And coming up very soon on the program, how do you sell Queensland as a tourist destination? What's the best way to do that? We're going to find out from a local filmmaker who's spent some time earlier this year commissioned by Tourism Queensland. We're going to get some tips from him on that. This afternoon, $1 Australian is going to buy you 81.3 US cents, 65.9 euro cents, 52.1 pence. And $1 Australian is also going to buy you 48.78 Russian rubles. Jenny Woodward is here. Now, Jenny, you've got the latest on the weather in Moscow.
I have. And
how are
it's
things
a
looking
pretty
there?
chilly day there. It's 10:30 in the morning. Currently it's 2 degrees, and that's actually 1 degree warmer than they expected. And they have some light snow.
2 degrees. Here we are. Well, actually, I've got a cardi on, but that's only with the air conditioning. It's been so steamy outside all day.
Very steamy. We had a top of 32 degrees, and the relative humidity at that time got to 69%. So that's why, of course, it's been steamy. But we had some gusty winds coming through as well ahead of the frontal system, which is, of course, bringing the storm. So I'll just tell you the storm warning for southeast Queensland first. It's for destructive winds and large hailstones. It's for people in Ipswich, Logan, the Gold Coast, parts of the Somerset, Scenic Rim, Redland and Brisbane Council areas. Now, a very dangerous thunderstorm forecast to affect Ipswich, Redbank Plains and Amberley by 5:50, Logan City, Wacol and Archerfield by 6:20 p.m. Earlier this afternoon, a 93km/h wind gust recorded at Oakey, and there was an 89km/h gust recorded at the Wellcamp Airport in Toowoomba. But that thunderstorm warning is not just in southeast Queensland. There's also storms up in the Gulf Country, the northern goldfields and upper Flinders, the Central Highlands and coalfields, Central West, Wide Bay, Burnett, and also the Darling Downs and Granite Belt. So storms over much of the state today. We were anticipating that today would be the peak day for storms in this particular little bout of storm activity, and that seems to be the way that it's unfolding. So people need to keep a close eye on the warnings over the next half an hour or so. We're also, tomorrow, we'll have that rain with the storm coming through tonight, but it is really going to be more about the winds than the rain. But we'll have some remnant rain to follow into the early hours of the morning, and perhaps some fog and low cloud in the morning, particularly around the western suburbs. But then a southerly change coming through, so the shower and storm activity is going to track north. So we'll see showers and storms from the Gulf Country across to about the Capricorn Coast tomorrow. And there is the possibility that we'll see severe swells between Rockhampton and Mackay, but probably not in the towns themselves, but just in that area between the towns. So people in that area need to be aware of that. And then the trough system starts to sort of make its way west again over the weekend and then kind of gather in western parts of the state, so that we're looking at the possibility of some good stormfalls over western parts of Queensland, starting in the northwest on Monday and then spreading down to western areas by Thursday, Christmas Day. At the moment, the odds are improving, so it really is looking like it's the best chance that we've seen for a while. So fingers crossed that it does play out in the way that we're anticipating and certainly hoping. Brisbane tomorrow, they're expecting another warm day, 35 the top temperature, a medium chance of showers early morning, then a sunny day will follow, and on the weekend just the slight chance of a shower about, but certainly cooler. 27 to 28 degrees the top temperature.
John Taylor mentioned a gust-nado. What do you think of that term, Jenny?
Look, I don't mind the name gust-nado. It does disturb me, however, that I don't know. I've seen the footage, and it was obviously out of the window of a car. And I'm really hoping that the person who was taking that footage was not driving the car at the time, because I think that would be a really bad idea,
particularly under those conditions.
Particularly, yes. But I did promise you a Christmas Day forecast.
Yes, you
did. So on Thursday we were talking about the possibility of rain in the west, but in Brisbane itself, a partly cloudy day, 22 to 30 degrees, a slight chance of a shower, 20%, and north-northeasterly winds through the day, partly cloudy. That sounds pretty good.
That sounds optimum.
Yeah,
you've got enough warmth in there, but a bit of coolness and
maybe a little light shower. I think it sounds pretty good. So let's hope we can stick with that for the rest of the forecast period.
Sounds really good to me. Apparently there's a storm already reaching Goodna, Jenny, and at about 10 to 7 at Redbank Plains might be.
And just in the time that we have been sitting here, Annie, the sky has gone from quite light and bright to this big black line.
Looking ominous, isn't it?
Slowly. So I think if you're in your office and you're thinking, will I go home, the answer would be don't. Just stay there for a while.
Just hold tight
and wait till it's gone. And if you're in your car, well, you'll just have to drive carefully.
Yeah, very carefully. Put your lights on. Thanks, Jenny. It's 20 to 6 on ABC Local Radio Queensland. I'm Annie Gaffney.
Today's current affairs on PM.
The last thaw of the Cold War. The United States and Cuba resumed diplomatic links with the help of Pope Francis after 18 months of secret talks. And attracting Indigenous students to science and engineering. The CSIRO launches a targeted summer school program in Adelaide.
The things we get to do are just incredible when it's such an eye-opener. That we have the ability to change our future. We can control what we do. We don't have to listen to what other people tell us. You know, I'm in charge of me.
I'm David Mark for PM.
More than the headlines. PM tonight after the news at 6.
It's only 7 sleeps until Santa's here, and very soon we're going to find out how today Airspace Australia has had news that his flight path is locked and loaded, and we'll find out about some new technology that's going to help Santa and his reindeers this year, as well as they make their way around the world. Looking forward to sharing that with you here on ABC Local Radio Queensland. How do you go about selling Queensland as a tourist destination? Is it with a bit of a catchy slogan? Or maybe it's with a visit from a very high-profile celebrity.
Hi, I'm in the heart of the Great Barrier Reef, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. Okay, that's cool. That is not just cool, that is damn cool.
Yes, the voice of Oprah. Or is it by offering the best job in the world?
Are you looking for work? Well, you may want to consider moving to Australia.
Australia's Tourism Bureau looking to fill what it is calling the best job in the world.
澳洲呢份工究竟有幾好咧？ This is it. Trabajar en la paradisíaca. It could this be your new office? Hamilton Island, off the coast of Queensland, needs a caretaker.
Tourism Queensland is a $10.55 billion business, so it's no wonder that the body tasked with looking after it would continually try to come up with new and rich ways to get that message out. Earlier this year, filmmaker Matt Raimondo has been commissioned by Tourism Queensland to create a web series called Into the Sunshine. Hi Matt, explain the web series for us.
Hey, how's it going? The web series is quite simply about finding local Queenslanders that have quite unique connections to their environment. It's a little bit of adventure, a little bit of nature, and it's about just building some compelling narratives about their lives and trying to inspire other people about how amazing Queensland is by their stories.
What was the brief given to you?
The brief is something that I have to create, I suppose. It was kind of based on another piece of work that I did. Actually, the first episode of the series, which was at Inchbrook Island, was a one-off job that I did for Tourism Queensland. We thought